My best friend Lynna talked me into it against my better judgment. She and I walked into Totman Gym at UMass Amherst as freshmen, ready to try out for women's crew, and every fiber of my being knew that I had no business being there. But let me explain. See, I'm the youngest of 7 kids, and it goes my sister, then 5 boys, and then me, and we are very close. But there is one bond my brothers shared that I could never break into, and that is playing sports with them. They were always in the backyard, but I was 4 years younger, and it was the 80s, so they didn't hesitate to tell me that I wrecked games when I ran too slow or threw like a girl. And that became a story I believed that I couldn't be trusted on a team, and I wasn't good at sports. I was still athletic. I chose running. It was an individual sport, and I chose dance, which had a set of prescribed movements that I could execute, and I didn't have to rely on my body's intuitive movement. But you know, I always wanted to be on a team. I would drive by tennis courts, and I would just get this little itch in the back of my brain, and I'd think, I might like that sport. Felt too dangerous to try. So there I am in Totman Gym, and there's this really intimidating senior telling us what would be expected of us. And she says the word push-ups. And I turn to Lynna and privately say, I don't do push-ups. Meaning, I don't think I can do a push-up. And scary senior, she hears me, and she points and says, you don't do push-ups? What, are you gonna break a nail? And I stammer, and I say, no, that's not what I meant. And she says, get down on the floor and show us a push-up. And I look to Lynna, but she breaks her gaze with me. And I get down on the floor, and I do a push-up. So the next thing I have to do is go for a 2-mile run. And I thought, I've got this. I'm a runner. So I bend down, and I give my laces a double knot for safety, and I crush it. I am doing a good job, and I come in with a respectable time, and my confidence has a boost. Well, next is the tank. So we head in groups of 4 with the head coach to a room called the tank. There's 4 seats, and each seat has a board in front of it with shoes bolted to it, and an oar, and to the left is water, so we can practice in unison. And the coach is so absorbed in her clipboard, she's barely registering that more people have walked in, and she says, all right, everybody, take your shoes off and put your feet in the sneakers in front of you. We'll get started. So we all bend over, and it's Lynna, and then 2 students, and then me, and I'm hunched over, and those knots I tied, they're not budging. And they're still not budging, and I can see out of my peripheral vision that other people have their shoes off and are already putting their feet into sneakers, and I start to panic. And the coach looks up and says, how we doing back there? And I say, I can't get my shoes off. And she says, okay, we're gonna go over the instructions, and when you're ready, we'll get started. So when the one in the back is ready, she'll yell ready, and then we'll count off 2, 3, 4, and all pull in unison, and she goes over the form. Well, I am hoping that the instructions would have been longer because I'm still hunched over the sneakers that are ruining my life. And the knot, it's getting tighter by the second, and I can't even yank these off. And what happens next has no explanation. I crack under the pressure, and still bent over my shoes, I yell, ready? And they count off 2, 3, 4, and I can't take my word back. And I hear the oars pull, and they crash into mine, sending a ricochet effect back up to Lynna, and there is a cacophony of crashing and splashing and dead silence. And the coach looks at me and says, what happened? And I say, I wasn't ready. And she says, why did you say ready? And I say, I don't know. Well, Lynna and I didn't go back, and it confirmed my story. I didn't belong on a team. 5 years ago, my friend Christine texted me and said, hey, do you want to take tennis lessons? And I was like, no, thank you. But then that itch got my attention, and I thought to myself, I am 44 years old and just about out of fucks to give. So I texted her back and said, actually, on second thought, yes. It's been 5 years of tennis now. I'm on year 2 in the North Shore Women's League. And you know what? When I allow myself to trust myself and move intuitively across the court, I feel nothing but joy. And when I have a great get, and my coach says, nice hustle, Theresa, I know I'm exactly where I'm meant to be.